And you always know where to find me. Facebook, the group page, SportsRap Podcast. You can get me right now. I'm here, and we are ready to rock and roll. So let's get to it. So we got a lot to talk about today. We got some NFL news for you, some updates rather with the NFL, and this is stemming all the way back to when we first found out about the COVID situation with the NFL, and it's gotten bad. It's been continuing off and on, but it's gotten to the point where they can't even really get control of it or get a handle on it. So we will definitely talk about that this morning. Give you some news and some updates before I give you your NFL scores. And I'm going to have to find or pull up week 12. I mean, week 13. I didn't bring that schedule with me today for some strange reason. But nonetheless, the schedule will go up tomorrow. Actually, it'll go up tomorrow after the game. There's a game on Tuesday. And like I said, that's part of the thing that I'm talking about with the COVID thing. So let's get into some news real quick. The Detroit Lions have fired head coach Matt Patricia and general manager Bob Quinn. The Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson tests positive for COVID. Steelers James Conner and another coach also test positive for COVID. The Ravens have signed Des Bryant to the 53-man roster. The Ravens Steelers game that was supposed to be Sunday, it's supposed to be Thanksgiving night, has been pushed all the way to Tuesday due to the COVID situations that were going on there. The NFL, in the midst of this, have now ordered a 2-day shutdown of team facilities, thinking it's going to be today and tomorrow amid this COVID 19 spike. The NBA has outlined the COVID safety plan protocol in a 134-page guide. So it's in resemblance to the outlines and the special things that they had for the bubble, but it's just not going to be in the bubble. So it had to be a little bit more intensified, and some things had to change and be added. So they have a 134-page guide on COVID safety protocol. Again, I tell you, the NBA has been doing it the best out of all the major sports. The Jaguars fired GM Dave Caldwell. There's been a lot of firing going on in the NFL recently. I don't know what's going on with these coaches and these players and these teams and these GMs, but there's a lot going on, and things have been changed. Shawana Jordan, thanks for tuning in. Grand Rising to you as well. Let's see. Vanderbilt's female kicker, Sarah Fuller, becomes the first female to play in a power conference game. So kudos to her for being the kicker and getting the kick off in that game playing in the power conference. Larry Johnson is set to become the first African American head football coach of Ohio State University. I'm sure my partner, if he was here, he would be happy about that. So I'm sure he's tuned in anyway, and he can catch that, and I'm sure he's seen it. My partner Baldy, shout outs to him, and he is an Ohio State fan. So good for them to hire or set to hire their first African American head football coach. The Sixers are bringing back forward Justin Anderson on a 1 year deal. Uh, I kind of like this deal. You know, he may end up being the 13th, 14th man on the bench down the line, but he brings some toughness. And if the young guys can't get it done, you have somebody that's in practice, a teammate, as well as the coaching staff that can get on the court and show you some things and help you out with some things and help you along the way on the bench during the game, while things are going on. So it's good to see him back, and he brings some toughness to the team, some toughness, some more toughness that we needed across the board on this team. The New Orleans Saints are hit with a penalty for not wearing masks during their celebration. That penalty goes as follows: they will lose a seventh round pick, and they are fined $500,000. The NBA has moved their Hall of Fame ceremony to May 13th through the 15th. Names on the list for inductees coming this year are Tim Duncan, of course, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Tamika Catchings, Rudy Tomjanovich, Eddie Sutton, Kim Mulkey, Barbara Stevens, and Patrick Bowman. All, I think, worthy of being inducted into the Hall of Fame, the NBA Hall of Fame. So, with that being said, want to get into some football scores real quick. And like I said, I omitted to bring Week 13 schedule with me. So we're just going to give you schedules because we got some other stuff that we need to talk about in a short period of time, and we need to get as much of it in as I can. So I'm going to give you these scores, and then we're going to get into some of the other things that we need and that we have on the agenda for today. Starting off Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, Houston 41, Detroit 25. Washington 41, Dallas 16. The Baltimore Pittsburgh game that was supposed to be the nightcap for Thanksgiving has been moved now to Tuesday. Las Vegas on Sunday, Las Vegas, the Raiders fall to the Falcons 43-6. The Chargers fall to the Bills 27-17. The Giants edge out the Bengals 19-17. The Tennessee Titans put something on the Indianapolis Colts. They take that 45-26. Carolina just doesn't get enough against Minnesota. They lose 27-28. Arizona gets beat by a field goal by New England and Cam Newton 20-17. Miami holds the Jets still winless 20-3. Cleveland at Jacksonville. Jacksonville just doesn't get enough. They fall 25-27. Frank Milligan, what's going on? New Orleans defeats Denver 31-3. San Francisco in a division game defeats the Rams 23-20 in LA. Kansas City edges out Tampa Bay 27-24. And last night's nightcap for Sunday night, Green Bay puts something on Chicago 41-25. Those are your scores for Week 12. Continuing Week 12, tonight again we have Seattle at Philadelphia. And then tomorrow night, completely closing it out, you have that Baltimore Ravens Pittsburgh Steelers game on Tuesday. Now, a lot of stuff went on this weekend. We all know, and we all seen, or most of us have now since seen, George, what's going on, have now since seen the well anticipated, monumental fight between Roy Jones and Mike Tyson. So, just to give you a little bit of background on that, yesterday I did post something, and I just wanted to just get a little read on where people were and who did they think would win that fight. Now, I also have to let you know that a lot of people didn't know this, but there were some stipulations on that fight. Neither fighter could go for a knockout. And there was also stipulations I heard that if someone drew blood, the fight would be stopped. So it was set up to be true to what it was labeled as an exhibition fight. Both fighters I hear or understand earned $1 million purse for the fight. And all in all, in hindsight, the fight wasn't bad. I just personally think Roy Jones held on a little bit too much, but by all accounts, which probably was a good decision because leading into this fight, I watched both of these guys train on different occasions, and Roy Jones looked to still have some of his hand speed, but the biggest question was, would he be able to take a punch from Mike Tyson? And the training regimen of Mike Tyson, we know, was unorthodox from the very beginning. So there was no reason for him to sway from that, albeit 50 plus years old. Still no reason to not to do something different than what you know and what you've been doing, which would make it easier for you and more comfortable for you. So that's what he did. And as I'm watching him train, I'm looking and I'm thinking to myself automatically, Roy might can catch him with the hand speed, but the bigger question becomes, can Roy Jones or could Roy Jones take a serious punch from Mike Tyson? But again, like I said, they put stipulations on the fight where no fighter could go for a knockout. And again, like I said, it all was safety and precautious for both of those gentlemen who are in their 50s, haven't boxed in years, and it was somewhat warranted, if you will. And I'm sure people expected more. Christopher Scott, my guy, what's going on? Long time. Been a long time since we talked to each other, but good to see you tuned in. I much appreciate it. So with that fight, again, it was pay-per-view, like we said. People did order the fight to see, because a lot of people were interested. A lot of people were wanted to know how these guys would look in this age in the ring again after an extended period of time missing the ring or being out of the ring, and then getting some fast training in, some condensed training in to get into the ring. So I have not seen the full fight yet. I have seen clips. That was the one reason I said it looked like to me that Roy was hugging quite a bit, holding on quite a bit. And again, like I said, it brings me back to that question: Could Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I just mentioned that to people. Like I said, Rock the barber from the Morning Rush just walked back in, and he just reminded me again what I already told you guys, that there were stipulations on this fight that a lot of people did not know going in. Like I said, there was the one where neither fighter could go for a knockout. So that question of could Roy Jones actually take a hit from Mike Tyson? Yeah, we will probably never know that because of the stipulations that were put on that fight. And again, like I said, also there was another stipulation where if someone drew blood, the fight was going to be called. So it was truly labeled and set up to be an exhibition fight. And the next business at hand before we take a break, and I'm sure we're gonna pick this back up when we come back. And if I get some comments, I may have to delay that break a little bit. We know the second fight. Well, we know there were other fights in there. The other fights out here were pretty good, except for one. My guy, Nate Robinson, and the basketball player versus the YouTuber, I think it was, whatever he was, Jake, whoever, I forget his name, Jake something, but against Nate Robinson. Um, uh, I'm sure Nate Robinson saw that going a whole lot differently in his head when he signed up for that. Um, if you have not seen it, the the memes and the internet went crazy immediately after the situation occurred. Nate Robinson was knocked out cold by Jake. Out cold. And you all know what that means if you've ever seen a boxing match. He was out cold. So, like I said, the memes have started, but my question is, who trained him, and why do some athletes tend to want to cross over into different realms and are not necessarily built for that other realm? So you figure Nate Robinson was a basketball player. And we all know basketball is a contact sport, so to speak. But to step off of the basketball court to go into the boxing ring is a lot different. It's totally different. Yes, it was real. He was stretched out in the ring, my sister, Shawana M. Jordan. He was stretched out in the ring. And I don't get it where, like I said, some of these athletes want to cross over into other sports and then it doesn't work out for them and things get bad for them. So I don't know what prompted Nate Robinson to want to go into professional boxing. Uh, it's a totally different regimen from being a basketball player. There are ways that you're going to train, there are drills you're going to do, there are things that you're going to do to become a professional basketball player and stay there for a little while, if you will. On the other hand, as a boxer, it's totally, totally different training and regimen than it is working out to be a professional basketball player. First of all, you have to be able to take a punch because I've seen boxers take beatings and keep on ticking. I've seen boxers take beating and just fall out. Hence, like Saturday. It wasn't really a beating though, but it was a solid punch. I mean, I saw the highlights, and the highlights are basically the fight in the Nate Robinson fight, if you want to call it that. But he should have thought more seriously, maybe a little bit longer before you stepped into that realm. I don't know what his opponent's background was as far as fighting, as far as training for a fight, and we'll probably never know. But Nate Robinson took the show in that instance with getting knocked out flat cold on the tarmac. So you might want to think about getting back into the basketball. The Big Three might be starting up again, so you might want to get back into that. But I think you need to seriously, seriously take a good look and maybe think about not stepping back into the boxing ring. Might work out better for you next time if you just stick with something that you know. Stick with basketball, bro, because it was not a good look. And I'm sure you are getting calls, you're getting messages. And I saw that you put out a thank you to all your training staff and all that, as you should, but an embarrassment to yourself. I don't know how you're going to shake this. I hope you can come back stronger, but we'll see. We will keep our eyes and ears to the streets and talk about that when we get to that bridge. I'm going to take my first break right now, 11:33, 33 minutes past the 11 a.m. hour. It is 61 degrees, I believe, outside, so it's not too bad. It's not too chilly. It's just rainy and nasty. So there's some flooding going on because it's been raining since the overnight. So if you're out and about, be careful. Watch the floods. Take your time. And we will see you on the other side in just a few minutes. It's your boy D. You're tuned in to Sports Rap on Heat 100 Radio.